Power Query offers a great range of options for numerical data transformation. However, it is essential to be cautious while adding or multiplying columns, which are common tasks in Power Query. So let us dive into the Power Query and look how it can be done. We have an Excel table that contains employee information, including their position, salary, and bonus percentage. Notice that many employees didn't receive a bonus. The table also indicates their starting salary, the salary increase they received up to current year, and the increase they got in the current year. To get the total current salary, we need to add up the employee's current base salary and any additional increase in salary. Once we have the total salary, we can calculate the bonus amount by multiplying it with the total salary. The maximum compensation is the sum of bonus amount plus the total salary. Finally, our result is a list of top 15 employees based on their compensation. Now let us send this data to Power Query by clicking Data from Table Range. Let us name our end report as Total Compensation. Firstly, let's explore our options for transforming numbers. So in the Transform tab, we can view the number transform options, but it is graded out because we have selected the text column over here. Let us select the starting salary, and here you can see all the number transformation options. So we have statistics, we have sum, minimum, maximum, median, average, standard deviation, and others. So let us click on median. So it displays only one number. So this can be used for obtaining information as a part of a query. We will learn how to use this in the query in upcoming videos. For now, let us close it. Let us go back to transform section by selecting the number column and transform. In standard category, we can perform add, multiply, subtract, divide, and so on. So if we click on add, we get an option to enter a value. So if I put 100 in this cell and click OK, so all our numbers are increased by 100. Let me just delete this tab. In the scientific option, we have absolute value, power, square, cube, or you can put your own number over here. Square root, exponents, logarithm, and factorials. Similarly, we have trigonometry options over here, and we have information as well. Information returns is even or is odd, so it returns the boolean characters. If I press is even, so wherever the Power Query finds the even number, it will place it as true, and for others it will place it as false. Let me just X this out. We also have rounding options, round up, round down, and round. So if we click on round, so for example, if you want to round a decimal number to the first decimal, we can input 1 and press OK. Wherever there are decimal places, it will round up to first decimal place. I just delete this. Similarly, if I want to make this a whole number, I can just select 0 over here and press OK. So now all the numbers are converted into whole number. Also, it is possible to use a negative values. For instance, if you put -1, it will round up the last digit. So 23202 will become 23200. Let me just press OK. And here you can see all the last digit will be rounded up. Similarly, you can put -2, so it will round all the values up to 100 place. Press OK, and here you can see all the values are rounded up to 100 place. Let me just delete these 2 steps. So these are very helpful options in Power Query for number transformation. So keep these options in mind. Now let us get back to our addition. Now this is very important. If I choose 2 columns, I can calculate the starting salary with yearly increment. However, the transform options are inactive now. Since I need to add columns, I will find these options in add column over here. So I can select standard and add. However, you may encounter an issue while clicking on add under the standard option. So review the resulting number very carefully. I selected 2 columns, but together they resulted in a null value. However, I don't want a null value. I want to see a number instead. To better understand this, let us check the formula. So Power Query took 2 columns in a square bracket and added a plus sign in between. Now let me show you something interesting. Let me just delete this. Now suppose if I add 3 columns, go to add column, standard, and add, I get the number. Despite being a null value in these 2 cells, I still get a number. So why this is happening? Let us check the formula bar. So here we find something different. The moment you increase the addition for more than 2 columns, the Power Query is smart enough to change the plus sign to the function. So instead of direct calculation, we received a function. So as you add more columns, the Power Query attempts to optimize its process by using the sum function. To better understand this, let us go to Excel. Let us take an example in Excel. So suppose if you want to add 2 values, naturally you will put a plus sign between the numbers and you get the number. Now imagine that you want to add more than two numbers. You will not put a plus sign between each and every number. You will use a sum function like this. But imagine that if we have a null cell in place of a number, so we get an error. Like in Power Query, we are getting a null value. Similarly, if you put a null cell over here, we still get a addition. So what sum function does is it ignores the null value and add the other numbers. So in Excel, we have sum function, and in Power Query, we have list.sum function. So let me just delete the last step. So now the question is, what are options if you just want to add two columns together? Well, there are three options which I know. The first option is to replace the null with 0. So just for the demonstration purpose, I will delete the last cell. I'll bring it back in a second. So the first option is to replace the null value with 0. So you can select the column, go to transform, replace, and replace null with 0. Now if you add both the columns by selecting it, standard and add, you get the values. The second option is to modify the formula in the formula bar. So let me just remove these two steps. Now suppose we want to add two columns, we will go to add column, standard and add. So we get the addition column with a null value. Let us just change this. So replace plus with comma and insert a sum function. So it is list dot sum. And the formula for sum function is in parentheses. So let us put before and after the columns. And since this is a list function, we have to put the brace bracket and our formula is ready. The third option is to bring in a dummy third column. So in our case, we have a third column, but I will show you a way how to introduce a dummy column. So let me just delete this, and we have two columns, and now we want to insert a third dummy column. So go to add column, custom column, and anyways we are going to delete this, so no need to give a name. Just type equal to null and press OK. So now we have introduced a null column, but the data type is text. So convert this to whole number, and now you can add three columns. Go to standard and add. So now you have the addition. You can always go and delete the custom column over here and press anywhere inside the table. You can always go ahead and delete this. So now we have our addition column. So making small adjustment in the formula bar to get the desired output makes a difference between the advanced user and a pro user. So let us delete the demonstrated steps and bring our column back. So select remove columns and delete until end. So now we are back to where we have started. Now add these three columns by selecting them by pressing Ctrl. Go to add column, standard and add. So we have our number over here. Let us name it total salary. Press enter. Now I no longer need this column because my total salary is here. So I'll just select them and press delete. Now let us see how we can obtain the bonus amount. So the bonus amount is calculated by multiplying the total salary with the bonus. However, the bonus columns may not always have a value. So when I try to multiply the columns using the standard tab, I get null values. Although receiving null values is acceptable in this case, I would prefer to display zero bonus for employees who are not eligible for the bonus. So I'll replace null values with 0. Press OK. But I want this replace value step before the inserted multiplication step. So I'll just right click and move before. Now when you click on inserted multiplication step, you get a 0. I can name the multiplication column now, or I can name it after I calculate the total compensation together. Now to calculate the total compensation, I will select both the columns by pressing Ctrl, go to add columns, standard and add. I'll rename the columns. So this is my total compensation column and this is my maximum bonus. I have already calculated maximum bonus, so I no longer need this bonus column. So I'll just select it and delete. So finally, we have total salary, maximum bonus and total compensation column. Now let us identify the top 15 employees who have received the highest total compensation. To do this, we need to sort the total compensation column in descending order. So you can achieve this by clicking on this drop down and sort descending. And then you can click on this side drop down and select keep top rows. This similar option is available in home tab, and keep rows, keep top rows and here I will put a value of 15. Press OK. So now I have top 15 employees who has a maximum compensation. So now my report is done. I'll just send this to Excel. So go to Home tab, close and load to. So select table, and in existing worksheet, I'll put my data over here. Press OK, and our data is ready. Now let us say Harry got a 50% bonus, then he should appear in this report. Let us refresh this. So as you can see, the Harry appears in the second row. So this was it for number transformation. I hope you have liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.